We'll just call it spade a spade. Saying I'm not a racist and being anti-racist is like two different things.
When most people think of racism, they think of, let's say what happened to George Floyd, or they think of the KKK, or they think of slavery. And when that is kind of your perception, it's very easy to say, well, I would never do that. I would never do that awful thing, which is valid, but it's more nuanced than that.
Someone saying like, I'm not a racist doesn't help the problem. Simply saying I'm not doing that does not save somebody's life. It's like witnessing someone getting jumped and being like, hey, I didn't jump him. It's like, but you also just stood there while he or she got jumped. And being an anti-racist is like, one, getting involved and being like, break it up, stop this. And two, speaking out to make sure it never happens again.
I would say on a very basic level, it's just about passive and active language, right? To say one is not racist doesn't actually connote any action. If you think about, let's pick baseball. To be not racist is going for a bunt. You hold the bat out, the ball, you hope the ball hits the bat. You're not expecting to hit the ball hard. You just want to get the ball to connect with the bat so that you can attempt to make a play. To be anti-racist is to swing the bat as hard as you can and go for the home run. To put in the extra effort to shoot for the stars and to actually swing that bat, right? To risk the strike, right? But you swing the bat as hard as you can every single time, right? Because you understand that that's the way you win games. That's the way you change things.
One of the most freeing things that white people can do, or actually any human being on the planet could do right now, is to just say, of course I'm racist. Of course I'm racist. If you grew up in a house that spoke French and you, as a baby, just started laying in your crib, listening to people speak French over you, you wouldn't have to do anything to start gaining proficiency in the French language. You would just speak it because that's what's being spoken around you. Our society speaks racism. It has spoken racism since we were born. Of course you are racist. Of course. The idea that somehow this blanket of ideas has fallen on everyone's head except for yours is magical thinking. It's useless.
Look, I think we celebrate the best of us, but I also think we had to live self-examined lives to mine and excavate the worst of us in order for there to actually be a good world, right? And I think that's what everyone's afraid to do.
The best way to get over stuff is to talk about it. This stuff will never change until people become comfortable having these uncomfortable conversations on both sides. I mean, they're not comfortable conversations. I mean, I've had to have conversations with people in my family and I'm in an interracial relationship, and, having the conversation is not the easiest thing to do, but you have to do it.
It's really easy to kind of unintentionally create an echo chamber. A lot of us are friends with people who look like us and who have the same beliefs as us. But having these conversations, especially, if you do have family members who harbor these like really, really toxic beliefs about Black people, rather than you talking about it with your fellow woke white friends, go talk to that relative.
That's the difference between non-racist and anti-racist. Anti-racist is about action. That to do nothing is to leave the system firmly in place. It is to absolutely affirm the status quo of certain bodies being allowed resource access opportunities and other bodies being literally killed. So if you want to assure that racism stands, continue being non-racist. But if you would like to see racism dissolve, if you would like to see the interruption of racism, the interruption of white supremacy, then what you'll do is say, where do I speak French? And how do I translate that to a language that is less harmful? I think we all have the opportunity to do that right now.
To my allies out there, I'd say first and foremost, listen to your brothers and sisters who are Black, and then listen to yourself. Tap into you. Who are you? And be honest about your biases. Be honest about how you really feel when I come around. How would you really feel if your daughter brought home meat, or your son? Or how many times you heard your parents say something racist and you let it slide because you figured it wasn't worth having the conversation. You know, like these are the things, right? Or how many times you watched a television show and you laugh at something that you knew was actually not funny at all and could be harmful for other people in this world.
I want you to see it. I want you to actually feel it and understand that it's wrong versus just knowing that it's wrong. Because I can know so many things are wrong and still engage in wrong activity. But until I feel that it's like wrong and until it like bothers me to do these things, then I won't really be an effective participant in this.
I think there are a lot of people right now in this moment that are awakened in a new way. They're like, oh, I see some things that I just never saw before. Wow, you know, it's like the great white wokeness. And it's not enough to just be awake. You know, we wake up every morning, and if you just sat in your bed once you were awake, nothing would get done. So when you wake up, you do something. Tiny things. I say, if you really are a person who's like, I believe everyone is equal. I believe everyone is equal. Is your bookshelf equal? Are the restaurants that you go to equal? Are the physicians and the professionals that you hire in your life, are they equal? Is your social media feed equal? Because yes, the more expansive your world is, the more people you start to think about. When someone says humans, you see an array of humans, not just white humans. And that is how we start to change things. Because if I can think about you on a conscious level, then your life really does matter. I will make sure that it actually matters.